Hey everybody, today we are tying 3 hook rigs for Chinook. You could use them for sockeye. With 2 hooks, you can use them out in the Puget Sound. We are catching big salmon today. Hey everybody, this is Jeff from Very Serious Hunting. Just give you a quick update. We've got a lot going on behind the scenes. If you haven't been following the podcast is popping off. It's been awesome. The YouTube's been a little dead. We're trying to get back to some of that. The Instagram has been doing great. We have a store now. We have hats that you can buy. We have stickers. That's about it. But we've been busy. We're into duck season now. We're out of fishing. We did a lot of crab and a lot of salmon this year. Thanks for being patient, and can't wait to see you guys on the next ones. I haven't been filming much. I just haven't. So that's the way it goes. First thing, grab all your supplies. So we need the baits that we're tying up. I've got a cut plug and a skinny. I have a bobber stop. I have some beads. I have some beads, a swivel, a couple of hooks, and another bead. We also need some line. For the big stuff, I use this roll of 50, and for the littler stuff like sockeye and pinks, I'll use this 10. So we're gonna rig this guy up for pinks, but this is exactly the same rig no matter if we're doing kings or we're doing sockeye or pinks or whatever. They're all the same. So I'm gonna grab some line. The only knife I have handy is this guy, so we're gonna use him. Some line, 5-6 feet, just to get us started. Now we're gonna take this and we're gonna put it in, leave a little bit of a tag. Give 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wraps, and that is going to give us enough space. So see, I grab it kind of like I'm almost crocheting, and then I'm going to come back up through. I'm going to lay that along the hook and give me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or so more wraps, and then I'm going to grab this and I'm going to pull it on through. Now, there, it's 1 hook. And you can see for these guys, the hooks are, an inch or so apart. And so we're gonna do about that as well. So this is where it almost feels more tricky, but it ends up the same. So we're gonna go back up through the eye. Now I told you we were gonna do like kings, but we're not doing kings. I just don't have the hooks handy. So this is what we're gonna do. So you can do them a little longer, you can do them a little shorter. I definitely don't want them touching. So we're just gonna grab about that much, and we're gonna go about 5 wraps again. And then we're gonna go right back up through, hold this. See, this is where it gets tricky because this one tries to grab you. And then we are gonna go bang, 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 bang. Another 5 or 6 wraps. Now, one thing I've noticed is if you go another couple wraps, then your line, hold on, I'll show you. Oh, and if it starts to knot up in your hand, what's going on outside? If it starts to knot up in your hand, just pull it out. It just needs a little love. Grant will make fun of me. Whoop. All right, so now, so you've got that tight. But what I've noticed is if you've got these hooks, if you add another couple wraps to this top hook, then your line won't kick over. I've got a few in here that, like this guy, for example. See how the line just kicks straight across that hook? It's a little bit better presentation. So now I've got 2 ready to go. So now we're going to take this bobber stop, and this bobber stop slides on. And this bobber stop is how we're going to be able to control it, and I'll show you that. So again, this is, like I said, it's a pink rig, but you could do the same thing, just tie another hook, and bigger barbed hooks for River Kings, good to go. So we're going to take this, we're going to slide that down, and then this little piece comes off, and this little piece ties on. Boom. Tie him real tight. You only get one chance. So now we're going to take him and we're going to trim those lines off. Now some guys would use scissors and not worry about nicking their leader, but I'm dumb. All right, so now we've got a bobber stop. And that bobber stop then will keep these beads from floating all the way up. And so I like to run a couple of these little beads. Now these beads end up as backups. Now, if we're running these skinnies, those little beads will fly right up in there. And so you run a bigger bead that won't fit up in the hole. So, but right now we're gonna lace up this skinny. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take, this cup plug. So a lot of guys will run it. There's a lot of different ways to run these, and the way that I run it is up, not through there, you idiot, right up through this. They call it the hook garage, and then out the hole. All right, so really comes down to preference. Some guys will run a hook up in here and then one trailing. Some guys will run it like this with their hook kind of back here. I like to run it a little bit about like that. Now if you're getting shorter strikes, you can cinch it up, and if you're getting shorter strikes, you can dangle it back, and if you think that they're hitting up here, then you can pull the beads and send it. So now we're going to take this. We are going to measure out, really about 3 feet is where we want it, but we end up using a bunch here. So we're going to go about there. You guys may measure it. I do what I want. And that tie a few wraps. This is whatever knot you want. Always spit on it. Give it a pull. That's it. So that's the whole thing. Ready to fish. Clip this on behind and away you go. All right, so what was all this crap doing? So now we're going to take this guy, and this is just garage flooring mat. That's all it is. So we're going to take this. As you can see, I have some slits cut in. I'm going to slide this into the slit. And I just wrap it around, And there's no good way to do this. It's right there. That's all you needed to know. He needs to slide out. What is he doing? He's in the way. But that's it. That's the whole thing, boys. added to the leaderboard. And so you can see I've tied up these big skinnies, similar with the big hooks. I also tie up my sockeye rigs. These work pretty well as well. These are just 2 hooks, rigs, and then instead of the skinny, I just run a bunch of beads and a smile blade. These work pretty good. And that's how I do virtually all of my fishing these days. So, everybody, thanks for watching. This has been a good experiment. We'll see how this video turns out. Don't forget to subscribe. Check out our podcast. Check out our stickers on our store. And follow us on Instagram. Bye, Mom. All right, since we're here, let me just show you a couple of the little things that we do. For shrimp, we like to take those cured shrimp and we will roll them. This is just rock salt. We'll put some rock salt in a little container and we will throw in, well, that's the same thing. Some scented up. The one thing that I don't have is like an anchovy or a herring, but those, do I? Yeah, I don't have an anchovy or a herring here, but I usually do. So I run that as well. So highly recommend, throw some of that in there and you'll scent up your shrimp and this rock salt will keep them and they'll be fine. And so they're in basically a rock salt solution anyway. But you can't take those and put them in your supers. So what we will do is I'll take a dish like this. Obviously this is pretty gross. I will take a can of tuna in oil, and then I will take the same and squirt and squirt and squirt, and I'll mash that up, and I will obviously use gloves, otherwise you will smell like this for ever. So same thing with these shrimp. Use gloves. I always keep those nitrile gloves on the boat. Highly recommend. I learned that from Teddy. So we're going to take that and we're just going to throw the scent and the tuna, mix it up, scent and salt, mix it up for your shrimp. Keep both of those in your bait cooler. Trust me. And then the other thing that I'll do is I'll take, let's see, where's that one we just put on? We will take this guy. And so some guys will do their dishes on their boat. And some guys, like me, will do their dishes when they need to. But basically you don't want this sitting. This will get really gross with all that scent and the tuna. So I'll just take this and I'll wrap and wrap and wrap. And make a little coil. And then I will tie them up, kind of like you might tie up a little leader or a bumper or something. Hang them over the edge. You can put 3 or 4 in there, and it's not ideal, but man, you can take this home, you can do dishes when you want. You can also just take this home and you can throw them in the fridge for your next fishing trip. You can just leave them in your cooler for the next day if you're fishing in the morning, and then in the evening throw them in here, throw them in your bait cooler. You have a bait cooler, right? Okay, so yeah, do that. It will really help. Yep, and then these guys, just go in here. I don't think he fits. Let's see. We can make him work. We are ready to go fishing, boys. We got a whole tub of lead over here, so. And that's it. That's the whole thing. It's a really simple setup, and it works really well. So we're gonna put him back. Whoop, we'll go back in there. Bye, Mom. One more little quick tip. You can't get this anymore. This is a Kershaw Blade Trader. It has a saw, a hunting knife, and a fillet knife. Look at that. Check it out. Kershaw, please. Kershaw, please. You can get these on eBay anymore. One day, I use this like this all the time. I was just using them for duck. I've used them for fish, obviously for fish. Definitely put that into some deer, and I've definitely put this into some deer as well, and some wood. Highly recommend. Just Kershaw, please. The whole package. Look at this. Bam. You got to be kind of careful with this guy. He will poke out the bottom. He sits like that. And he sits like that. And he just goes and lives. It's fantastic. All right, that's enough. Bye, Mom.